We have our biggest casualty yet in the WTA Mutua Madrid Open, as second seed Naomi Osaka has fallen to Karolina Muchova 6-4, 3-6, 6-1. I'm honestly not too surprised by this result because Muchova is very tricky and players of her skill level and game style tend to trouble Osaka. Also, it is clay where Naomi is more susceptible to defeat. However, prior to Madrid, Karolina hadn't done much on this surface herself, as most of her best results came on faster courts like Wimbledon and the Australian Open. I didn't get a chance to watch the match live, but I was able to catch some extended highlights, and from what I saw, Osaka's serve is a big weapon, we all know that, but it kind of loses its weaponry, I guess, on clay because she won't be able to rely on it as much getting those easier points. I believe she needs to be more strategic with her serving and incorporate more slice serves because when she did, she was relatively successful today. Also, I don't like her movement at all. She still really doesn't know how to slide, as when you do so, you're supposed to slide while hitting, while she hits then slides. A lot of the time she lost her footing due to her not being able to slide and move efficiently on the clay, which allowed Muchova to get her on the defensive a lot more. That's another thing. Naomi's movement in the past few seasons has become an asset. In fact, opponents know on hard courts to prevent Naomi from hitting on the move because she loves creating angles. However, on clay currently, the movement looks like a liability as she defended very poorly today. It could be because she isn't used to being on the defensive that much, as on clay, it looks like she won't be on the offensive as she's typically accustomed to while playing on hard. Even in her opening round match against Doi, she was pushed in a lot of corners, and it was interesting to see her not honestly overpower opponents as she usually does. I feel like opponents on clay actually are going to want to move her wide on this surface instead of going up the middle because for a change, Naomi looked pretty good when approached with a middle ball, deep middle ball, and I think that's because she has more time to get her feet around and then tee off. In the second set, where she played a lot better, she was in control of the points for the most part and took advantage of Muchova's second serves, which is something I think she should do more often, especially on this surface. Also, definitely giving credit to Karolina herself. She played a great match and has honestly excelled this entire year, getting that win over world number one Ash Barty en route to the Australian Open semifinal, if you didn't remember. And her next match against Sakura should be a really great one too. Back to Naomi, the Japanese Haitian woman was actually very optimistic about her performance today and even made a post about the match, which she hardly ever does in defeat. Osaka said on Twitter and Instagram, "Caught an L today, but beyond happy with how hard I fought and very grateful for the team I have around me. I already know something good is coming for me, so I'll keep putting my head down and working hard. Tomorrow is a new day. Thank you guys for the support." She continued her ray of positivity into her press conference, having this to say.
It was quite different from the last time I lost in Miami, and I actually think I played much better here, so I'm very happy about that. And I think what I can take away from this is that I tried my best throughout the entire match, and usually I feel like, I don't know, I have dips sometimes, but I think I was quite neutral, and I can be positive about that. And I think tennis-wise, for me, I felt I was too defensive in the first set. I think halfway through the second set, I was able to adjust that. And then the third set, honestly, I feel I just started off really bad and I couldn't afford to do that. And then the last three games, I think she was just serving really well. And unfortunately, I couldn't hold my serve. But I wouldn't say I'm happy that I lost, but I think I learned a lot. So that's all I can hope for. I wasn't surprised. I played her before and it was 3 sets then too. I would say it's more impressive the way she was moving. Like, I want to learn how to slide like she does, and hopefully I'm able to, train and learn also how to do that. Maybe it'll take a couple years of playing on clay, but hopefully I'm able to learn quickly. I have a pretty positive outlook on it, because for me, my biggest things today, I know I can't control the outcome of the match, but I can control my attitude and how hard I fought. And for me, I thought I did that really well. And physically, I don't think I got tired. I was just made some pretty bad decisions point-wise in really crucial moments. So I think I'll learn from that, and hopefully, I don't really want to play her on clay anymore, but maybe next time we play, I'll make better decisions, and maybe the outcome will be in my favor that time. But I'm really happy with how I was able to talk with my team after I lost and after I came off the court. I think we were really we have a plan now, so I think it's good.
I think it's great that Naomi has a positive outlook on this match because it's all about perspective. She understands that clay is a work in progress for her, and I don't think that she's too much necessarily stressed. Even she said herself that it'll probably take 2 to 3 years for her to fully master sliding. Maria Sharapova hated clay throughout most of her career, but grew to love it towards the end, and I surely think that the same is possible for Naomi. Now, the Muchova-Osaka match was actually the only women's encounter to go the distance today, as Maria Sakkari dominated a net Kontaveit 3-1. Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova took out 6th seed Karolina Pliskova 6-love 7-5, and next faces Jen Brady, who destroyed Elena Ostapenko 2-1. Side note, Brady took out Venus Williams in the opening round, who once again had many opportunities to at least grab a set, but was unable to take advantage of her opportunities. All the best for V in Rome. 5th seed Aryna Sabalenka advanced past Daria Kasatkina 6-3, 6-3, and now faces Jessica Pegula, who got a walkover after Victoria Azarenka withdrew due to a lower back injury. Finally, Elise Mertens and Simona Halep meet once again after they took out Elena Rybakina and Sasai Zheng respectively. Looking at the other women's matchups that will be played tomorrow, there's Jabeur versus Bencic, Badosa Sevastova, Kvitova Kudermetova, and Barty Swiatek. Those last two matchups are the ones to watch, especially Barty Swiatek, because both women are in great form and are riding win streaks on the red clay. I'm going to stick with my pick of having Iga advance, where I believe she'll meet Kvitova. Next, I'm going to do a mini preview of the Madrid Open on the men's side, as play is already underway. First, we have Nadal's section, and we could have a very, very interesting match on our hands between him and Carlos Alcaraz, as Alcaraz is regarded by many as the next great Spanish player. Another youngster Nadal might have to face is 14th seed Jannik Sinner, who might have a tricky second rounder against Munich finalist Jan-Lennard Struff. Pella in the opening round, though, isn't an easy feat. Moving down, we have Miami Open champion Hubert Hurkacz on a collision course with Dan Evans for a rematch of their Monte Carlo third round where Evans dominated. Zverev is Rafa's projected quarterfinals opponent, but I don't think that the German will make it that far based on his current poor form. He also has a difficult opening round either way, as Kei Nishikori and Karen Khachanov square off in round 1. I think that Nishikori has the edge here, as she had a good showing in Barcelona, losing to Nadal in 3 sets. Also, the 2014 finalist typically does very well in Madrid, and I think that he'll meet Nadal in the quarters, and if not him, Dan Evans. I have Rafa reaching the semis regardless. The second section is teams who we haven't seen since Dubai. The Austrian took some time to recharge and get to qualifier in round 1, either Pablo Andujar or Marcos Giron. He could very well meet Grigor Dimitrov in the third round, the same man who knocked him out of the Australian Open. This being his first tournament back in almost 2 months, I don't think that Dominic has high expectations for himself. I don't either, to be honest, which is why I think Grigor would beat him again in round 3. Moving down, we have Roberto Bautista Agut and Andrei Rublev on a path to meet in the third round, and I'm actually going to go with Agut here. He nearly defeated Rublev when they played at Monte Carlo, and I think that he can get the job done here in front of his home crowd. Agut is also my pick to reach the semis. Third is Tsitsipas' section, and at the top is Diego Schwartzman, who has a tricky opener in either Humbert or Karatsev. Shapovalov and Bublik both advanced today and will meet in the second round. Dennis hasn't won consecutive matches since Dubai, and Bublik might prevent that streak from being broken. I think Shapo will win though, but fall to Schwartzman in the third. Fellow Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime has the tough opener in Casper Ruud, and might play another great clay court player and Estro finalist Cam Norrie. I think that Ruud will pull off the upset and face Tsitsipas in the third round, although the Greek player will have a tricky one in Munich's champ Basilashvili in the opening round. Regardless, I believe Steph and Diego Diego will meet in the quarters and choose the Greek player to reach the semis once more. The last section is Matteo Berrettini, who will likely play countryman Fabio Fognini in the second round. Berrettini hasn't been playing his best tennis as of late, so Fabio could surely win this one. I do think Berrettini will edge this one out, and I have him advancing to the third round, where I think he will fall to Pablo Carreño Busta. Medvedev, I think, has a tricky draw, potentially going up against Davidovich Fokina in the opening round, followed by maybe Christian Garin. I'm actually picking Fokina to pull off the upset, but I think that he'll lose to Christian Garin. Garin and Carreño Busta is my pick for the quarterfinals here, and I think that the former will reach the semis. I predict that we'll have a rematch of the Barcelona final between Nadal and Tsitsipas. The margins between those two in that match were so razor thin, so this match is going to be very hard to predict. If it does happen, I think that Nadal would be victorious simply because he's very difficult to beat in the final stages of clay court tournaments. As we saw in Barcelona, it's very difficult to get the job done over him in those finals. In Madrid, he's only lost to Federer, Murray, and Djokovic in finals. Tsitsipas has said that he's ready for that next step, but it'll still be a tough ask to defeat Rafa here, and I think that the Spaniard will up his game from Barcelona. That's all for this video, and let me know what you think of Osaka's loss and her comments, plus my Madrid men's preview in the comment section below. Also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post new content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.